in terms of our questions, we've kind of gone through what we were going to go through, but I'm conscious to get some of your thoughts in terms of how teams are shaping up. So is there any teams in the off-season that have kind of surprised you, that have noticeably got better, that you think will be a real, and no bias now in terms of, mentioning Tampa, but teams that you think will be contenders this year that maybe weren't last year?
The Florida Panthers, for sure. I think they didn't even have Aaron Ekblad in the playoffs, their top defenseman, and they took Tampa to 6 games. And they've made some, I think, really good signings. I think they're going to be really good. I think Boston got better. I don't know if they're going to sign Tuukka Rask, because they signed, was it Olmark from Buffalo?
They did, yeah. Yeah, because they believe Tuukka Rask is going to be out, I think, for, I want to say at least half the season, but he's going to have surgery. So I guess they're thinking, well, is he kind of going to be back? I'm just flicking on Boston now in terms of signings that they've made. I mean, Boston, you're right. I mean, Boston made some good signings. If I flick off the entry level on Cap Friendly, Nick Foligno is not a bad move for them, given where they're at. Slightly odd in terms of contract. Obviously, they retained Taylor Hall as well. That was a good move from them. And
good signing too, I thought. Pretty good value for him and the team.
Yeah, $6 million for 4 years. That's. I thought he doesn't go for that on NHL 21, but put it that way.
Right.
But yeah. And Florida's an interesting one because Spencer Knight, and somebody just posted it into the chat a second ago, but Spencer Knight was the kind of almost like a backstory last year because Dreiger played so well. Obviously, Spencer Knight came in and played really well as well, which is fantastic to see that for a rookie that was such a massive prospect. But it puts a real issue for Florida, not this year, but in years to come if he continues to play like it. Because they've got best of both worlds this year. If Bobrovsky plays well, then they play both. If he doesn't, then you hope Knight's the guy, right?
Right. And Knight came in the playoffs and got a win in Game 5 after giving up the first shot of the game and then didn't let one up the entire rest of the game. So he's got poise.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and normally, first round goalie picks are, shall we say, a little bit hit and miss. But I mean, he looks like what people thought he was going to be.
Right, we had 2 this year, I think, maybe more. But Casa with Detroit and Wallstead went to the Wild, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was late. I was surprised how late he was. I really thought that that Chicago were going to go for him originally. Obviously, they ended up losing their pick because they went for Seth Jones. But yeah, it was surprising how late he went. One of the questions that's gone in is around Carolina and the moves that they've made. What's your thoughts on the Hurricanes? I'm just loading up their team now.
I would not have gotten rid of Nedeljkovic. Even if he files for arbitration, which he did, that's why they traded him. But they signed some pretty old goaltenders for either more or pretty similar to what Nedeljkovic was asking for, and I thought he deserved it.
Yeah, and obviously the Jake Bean move as well was an interesting one. I mean, the goalies, they've got 2, you're right.
Fogle.
Oh, yeah, I was saving the best till last on that one.
Dougie Hamilton's gone.
Yeah. I mean, they've got cap space. They've got, I think it's 11
I think they've had a pretty terrible offseason.
I struggle to disagree. I mean, Freddie Anderson, $4.5 million for the next 2 years with a modified no trade clause.
I mean, that's Nedeljkovic signed 2 years for $3 million. So I don't. And Freddie Anderson has just been struggling in Toronto. I don't get that at all.
I agree. And then Anthony Ranta, you were right earlier. Anthony Ranta signed there 2 years at $2 million, which looks good.
Okay.
But it's, like you said, I mean, $1 million more when they could have kept Nedeljkovic and
right. And we forgot about Tony D'Angelo.
Oh God, yeah, exactly. A nice
I
switch.
totally forgot about that. Yeah.
Oh God, yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about that move. I'm just trying to find him now. So he's always classed as being in the minors because obviously that's where he was when he was traded. But after obviously famously being sent to the minors last year when he was at the Rangers, so apparently they offered Dougie Hamilton $6 million.
Yeah, that's especially with the cap space they have. I mean,
yeah.
But good for Dougie, getting the money. Yeah, I think New Jersey. I mean, they're one of the teams that I didn't mention, but I think they got a lot better.
Yeah, to be fair,
they have the Hughes brothers that they drafted.
I mean,
was it Luke Hughes?
This is some of the top players that New Jersey have got now, ignoring the draft picks as well. So they've still got Nico Hischier. They've still got Miles Wood there, Jesper Bratt. It's a big RFA season coming up for them next year. Jesper Bratt, Miles Wood, Pavel Zacha, all RFAs. Jesper Bokvist, Jack Hughes is an RFA next year. That's going to be interesting. Given when Jack Hughes was drafted, everybody thought this kid was going to be Austin Matthews. That's what they expected, and then he turned up and he wasn't. He had a better season last year, I thought. Not great. I think, I don't know if Drudd's in the... Well, we know he's not in the chat, because if he was, he'd already be kicking off about New Jersey. But
exactly.
But Jack Hughes, I still think he's got a long way to go. So that contract, to me, that's an interesting one, because you're not paying him his shit money.
I would bet that it's going to be a bridge deal.
I think that works, looking at their team.
I think it works both ways.
Yeah.
I don't see a massive contract coming.
No. I mean, they've got the cap to do it, but I just don't think he's earned it. And I don't think Jack Hughes would want to do that either, because I think he knows on a bridge deal that he's tradable if it doesn't work out in New Jersey. And I'm not saying he's going to stay there just to play with his brother. Obviously, he's not, but that's got to be on his mind as well. Defensively, though, they look pretty strong. I mean, we forgot about Ryan Graves as well. That's a really good move for me. I like that. So their defense is Dougie Hamilton, PK Subban, who I don't hate PK Subban. I think he's a good player. I think.
Oh, me too.
That contract is probably the only thing that makes him look like a bad player to have in your team. I think he's 11% of their cap on his own, which is a lot, given that the production's probably not there. But I could see him being a good locker room guy.
Oh, for sure.
Damon Sevenson as well. He's on $4.2 million for the next 2 years. Not bad. Ryan Graves, as we were saying, I think that's a great move. The infamous Jonas Siegenthaler, who's the man on NHL 21, who none of us can get above 81 overall, no matter how hard we try. And then they've got Ty Smith as well, even. Sorry. So, who's
right, and he's going to be a stud. Good. He already is.
Yeah, he played. He was him playing like he did in any other team. He'd have been talked about. I mean, I'm not saying, before people go mental, I'm not saying that he's Makar, but there are similarities to the way that Smith broke out. He had more points than Jack Hughes. Certainly most of the way through the season. So he looks like the first round draft pick that he was. And then they've got a good goalie tandem. Jonathan Bernier, not bad. Played well for Detroit last year on a really bad team. And Mackenzie Blackwood gets to be the kind of 1A, 1B, which I think probably suits Blackwood better, to be honest.
I agree.
At his age.
And speaking of Cale Makar, I don't think I've ever seen a defenseman that can skate like him.
Yeah, he's good. Is he franchised, man? Because I know we was talking about him being, and for those of you that don't follow the channel, FMDG is and started as a Discord group, and within that we've got roster edits and sliders for NHL 21 and other sports as well. But so we're normally talking potentials as a kind of a team. I think he's franchised. You know,
I think at the minimum a high elite, at the very minimum.
Yeah,
but I would agree with you.
He's seriously good, and he is one. You know, we talk about Jack Hughes not earning his contract. Kyle McCarr earned $9 million a year. You know, like he deserves that.
I agree.
22 or not, doesn't matter. I mean, the guy, and he came in the playoffs. You know, so he had a really, because I'm pretty certain his first game was in the playoffs. Yeah, and he looked good straight away, and he's not stepped back since. For all the moves that we'll flick onto the Avalanche now, but for all the moves that the Avalanche made, they still look really strong. Like, I mean, Darcy Kemper is a great signing.
Yeah, they have some prospects coming up too. I mean, they have it all going on. They have Byram, Newhook. I think I'm missing one, but I mean, they're not going anywhere for a long time.
No, and you're right there. They've got some really good young players. I'm just trying to find. Shane Bowers obviously he's not going to be. He should be maybe top 6, but he's not kind of. But then they've got Jean-Luc Foudy. You've got Newhook, as you said, Martin Kaut as well. They've got some good players coming through. They've also still got the benefit of having one of the league's best players in Nathan McKinnon. He's got no trade clause, which is ironic because there's no way they're ever doing it. But he's $6.3 million. It's crazy.
He's gonna get a really big contract, I think. Is it expiring this year?
Next. So they got 6.3 for the next 2 years.
Wow, that's such a steal.
I mean, they've got Rantanen, Landeskog, and McKinnon. Are 9, 7, and 6.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is crazy. I mean, you've got Eric Johnson on 6, and then you got Nathan McKinnon on 6. It's just bizarre.
Right.
They should be a force.